Wow, this library is amazing. It's not like a normal library at all.
Cyber Vikram zoomed into the library on his hoverboard. This library was from the future. Books floated in mid-air, strange lights blinked, and robot assistants zipped around. It was awesome. Vikram loved to learn. He wanted to know everything about everything. Today he was researching robots for a school project.
I can't wait to start my research.
A shiny robot approached him. It had a big friendly screen for a face.
Greetings, I am GeniusBot. How may I assist you? Wow, you can answer any question. Try me.
GeniusBot's screen flashed with colorful lights. Vikram typed his question. He was curious about the world of robotics and wanted to know more.
How do robots work? He asked, his eyes wide with curiosity.
Instantly, the answer appeared on GeniusBot's screen. It was a long and complicated explanation, filled with technical jargon and detailed diagrams. Vikram didn't understand all of it, but he copied it down anyway. He hoped that by writing it down, he might understand it better later. GeniusBot made research so easy. It provided answers to any question almost instantly. The library was filled with other kids. They were all using GeniusBot too, their faces illuminated by the glow of the screens. No one was even opening a book. They just copied down GeniusBot's answers, their pens moving quickly across their notebooks. It was super fast. But was it really learning? Vikram wondered if simply copying answers was enough to truly understand the material. Vikram started to wonder. He saw his friend, Rani. She looked puzzled, her brow furrowed in concentration.
I don't get this, she said, frustration evident in her voice.
Me neither. But at least we have the answer, right? Vikram replied, though he wasn't entirely sure himself.
Rani didn't look convinced. She glanced back at the screen, her skepticism growing. She chewed on her lip, deep in thought. Was there more to learning than just having the answers?
I guess so, she said finally, though her voice lacked conviction.
Suddenly, the lights in the library flickered, casting eerie shadows on the walls and creating an atmosphere of suspense. The children, who had been quietly reading, looked up in surprise. A strange whirring sound filled the air, growing louder and more intense with each passing second. It was as if the very fabric of the library was coming to life. A large, shadowy figure materialized in the center of the room, its presence both awe-inspiring and intimidating. The children watched in wide-eyed wonder. It was Robo-Bethala, a legendary robot known for his tricky riddles. His metallic frame glinted under the flickering lights, and his eyes glowed with an otherworldly intelligence.
Greetings, young scholars. His voice was deep and resonant, echoing through the library like a bell. I have a challenge for you. His words hung in the air, filled with promise and mystery. What is more valuable than 1,000 answers? The question was simple yet profound, and it set the children's minds racing.
The children were stunned. They had never encountered a question like this before, one that seemed to defy easy answers. They looked at each other nervously, hoping someone else might have the answer. The room was filled with a tense silence. No one dared to speak. The weight of the question seemed to press down on them, making it hard to even think. Finally, Vikram worked up the courage to ask. His voice was small but steady, cutting through the silence.
What is the answer, Robo-Bethala? Vikram's eyes were filled with curiosity and a hint of desperation.
The answer, young Vikram, is not something I can give you. Robo-Bethala's tone was gentle but firm, like a teacher guiding his students. It is something you must discover for yourselves. Think. Use your minds. His words were a call to action, urging the children to dig deep and find the answer within themselves.
And with another flicker of lights, Robo-Bethala vanished. The room returned to its normal state, but the children knew they had been changed forever. The children were left in silence, pondering his challenge. They knew that the answer was out there, waiting to be discovered, and they were determined to find it. Vikram couldn't stop thinking about Robo-Bethala's question. It was a question that had been gnawing at him ever since he heard it. The question was simple, yet profound. Is there something more valuable than 1,000 answers? Was there really something more valuable than 1,000 answers? Vikram pondered this deeply, trying to understand the essence of the question. He wondered if the process of finding answers was more important than the answers themselves. He looked around at the other kids. They seemed so engrossed in their tasks, yet something was missing. They were all back to copying from GeniusBot. The robot was their go-to source for everything, and it provided them with instant answers. No one seemed to be truly thinking. The room was filled with the hum of the robot, but the spark of curiosity was missing from the children's eyes.
I've got an idea. Vikram's eyes lit up as he thought of a plan that could change everything.
An idea sparked in Vikram's mind. He realized that to truly understand the value of questions, he needed to create a situation where the kids had to think for themselves. He decided to conduct an experiment. He wanted to see what would happen if the Genius Bot was no longer available to provide answers. He snuck behind Genius Bot and flipped the off switch. His heart raced as he wondered what the reaction would be. The robot's screen went dark. The children gasped. The room fell silent as everyone turned to look at the now inactive robot.
What happened? The kids were bewildered, their faces showing a mix of confusion and concern.
Where did the answers go? They frantically searched for another source of information, but nothing seemed to work as efficiently as the Genius Bot.
I need those answers for my homework. The frustration was evident as they struggled to complete their tasks without the robot's help.
Vikram watched their reactions. He realized that without Genius Bot, they were lost. They had become so dependent on the robot that they had forgotten how to think critically and solve problems on their own. They had become so reliant on the robot that they had forgotten how to think for themselves. Vikram knew that this was the moment to teach them the true value of questions and the importance of thinking independently. Vikram knew what he had to do. He turned Genius Bot back on and quickly typed in a new set of instructions. He reprogrammed Genius Bot to guide the children's thinking instead of giving them the answers directly.
From now on, Genius Bot will ask us questions to help us learn. It won't just give us the answers. We have to figure things out for ourselves.
Some kids grumbled. They liked it better when Genius Bot did all the work, but Vikram stood firm.
Trust me, this will be much more fun, and we'll actually learn something.
Genius Bot's screen lit up with a new message. Welcome to learning mode. Let's explore together. At first, it was tough. The kids struggled to answer Genius Bot's questions, but Vikram encouraged them to keep trying. He showed them how to find information in books and online. He taught them how to think critically and solve problems. Slowly but surely, something amazing happened. The children started to enjoy the challenge. They liked figuring things out for themselves. They asked questions. They debated ideas. The library was buzzing with excitement.
This is great. I actually understand this now.
Rani beamed at Vikram. Vikram smiled. He had done it. He had helped his friends rediscover the joy of learning. They had learned that true knowledge comes from understanding, not just from having the right answer. From that day on, the library was a different place. The children still used Genius Bot, but in a new way. They used it as a tool to guide their thinking, not as a shortcut to avoid it. They had learned the most valuable lesson of all, the power of their own minds. And somewhere, Robo Bathala was smiling.